The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Previously on Stone to Space.
For the start of Chapter 3, we went to Kerbal Space Program to learn how to make rockets so that we could explore the stars for a new home. We began playing on career mode while not knowing anything about what we were doing. After doing some research off-stream, we then moved to the science mode with newfound knowledge. We went to both moons, created communication networks, planes, science missions, a space station, and then ended the game by traveling all the way to Duna in the Antari ship.
After arriving at Duna, our ship the Antares fell apart, causing us to land on Duna and mine its resources so that we could fix the Antari ship. We unlocked various buildings, and also different types of science. After fixing everything but scanners on the ship, we then left the planet behind us as we continued to travel in space.
Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Oxygen Not Included.
We were doing our food, so we have this climate controlled. We were also trying to keep the carbon dioxide and oxygen in certain areas, but I realized that there's going to be so much stuff off-gassing in this area, as well as chlorine occasionally due to the water weeds. So I'm not actually going to worry about where the gases are. I do want the carbon dioxide to stay down here, but the rest of the gases can mix up top. We also started digging this out. This is another volcano, so we're going to try and get igneous rock from that. It's just going to reduce magma going to the right and down, and then hopefully turn stuff into steam. We were also starting to get ready our dirty brick right here. We have pretty much the bare bones prepared, and this is going to have all the generators that create carbon dioxide, and that's going to be the only thing that's contained. At some point we will have this open to the atmosphere in the area. That'll be a lot of fun. There's a little too much liquid over here. So if I just dig that. Okay. While I don't forget, welcome in Gino, and also Brick Ed, first time chatter. There is bleach stone right here. Pick that up. Actually, they shouldn't have to tell them to pick it up. They should just be putting it over here. Is this on a 5 or on a 6? It's on a 6, so they'll get around to it eventually. And there are bossy Drecos over here. How many are in this room? There are 8, so we get to kill these guys. I'm also going to queue up killing everyone in there. I don't think there's any other critters walking around where they shouldn't be. We are slowly getting through all the extra gases over here. Eventually we'll get that emptied out. Let's analyze this. Right now it's idle, but it won't be forever. It should immediately make steam right here, and then just produce a bunch of stuff. Now what I should do is probably empty out this entire area of debris, so we'll do that now. Because I have a feeling that that magma is going to turn stuff into also being magma. Whoa, what happened here? Why is there oxygen in here? Natural gas. Oh, that's steam. Why is there steam in there? There's nowhere in here that creates steam. There's no liquids. There is steam in here, but there's no vent. How did steam get in here? Because right now it says there's only natural gas. That's weird. I don't know how else to explain that. We're gonna just let it go through here and we'll just pay the price of a little bit of cobalt ore to fix that. Not too big of a deal for me. Let's do a regular pod. Yeah, we're not gonna take those slug eggs. Alright, and now I am going to go through these and do a little bit of math, I think. So I'm going to pull up a website called ProfessorOakshell.com, which does oxygen included math on food. So that I don't have to. I want... What is this called? I already forget. The thing that mealwood makes. Pickled mealwood? Is that what it's called? Oh, it's pike apple. What is it called? Pickled meal. Is right here. We want... Let's change this to 3 and see if that will give me the amount of crops that we currently have here. It actually is not doing the correct amount, so if I look at this... Oh, oh. 14. 14 is not enough for 3 duplicates. If we had this at 15, it would be exactly 3 duplicates. So I don't know if we're actually using that to eat from. Now, what are mushrooms used for? Is it used for more than just mushroom wrap? Could be for mushroom quiche. The rest is food-related stuff. Okay, so how many duplicates do we feed off of 1 or 5 plants of mushrooms? Mushroom wrap. We want 3 duplicates to see. So if we look at this, dust cap is 4.69 plants. 2.5 water weeds. That's pretty much what we have. If I change this to a 4, does that change the numbers? It does change the dust caps up to 5. So this feeds 3 duplicates. Okay, so that brings us down to 21 duplicates. This should be 3, 6, 9, 12. So that leaves us with 9 duplicates to worry about food for. What about bristle blossoms? Which are then turned into what? Bristleberry. Bristleberry. We had pincher pepper nuts. It turns into stuffed berry. If we also do this, we get berried or mixed berry pie. So let's look at stuffed berry. And if we keep it to 4 duplicates, we need a total of 10. That's 11 tiles. Which is 10.91. That's pretty much the same thing. And then for the pinch pepper nuts, we need about 3.5 of these. And then spicy tofu. 10.5 nosh sprouts. That's pretty much it right there. I'm not going to worry about the extra half that we need. And then it says we need exactly 2 pinch pepper nuts, so that's that amount. So I cut all of these things down to being 4 duplicants. The amount of food that it creates. So we're at 12, 15, plus another 4. That leaves us with 5 duplicants to worry about. We count in the nosh beans once we have our dirty brick ready. That would be almost all of our duplicants being fed. So that also includes these, meaning that we have enough food for everyone. We also have these down here. So we have stuff for surf and turf, which means that I think I can deconstruct a whole row of food right here. And that'll bring us a little bit closer to getting rid of all this stuff. Once we have all of this unlocked and actually working, we can get rid of all of these. I will at some point get rid of the last thing when we get the... or when we're down to just needing the sleet wheat. But for right now, we do not. They did take everything out of here. This erupts in 3 cycles. So we'll get to see what that's going to do. How is the gas doing over here? It's doing better. It's putting all the chlorine up here, so we'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that at some point in the future. And slowly, this should get pushed down. Right now, there is quite a bit of carbon dioxide, so it's going to take a while. That should be the last critter to be killed. Right. Oh, what happened here? That's what happened. That's how we got steam. The water flashed. Which is why this is at 5 kilograms. Alright, we're gonna have to build a way in here. I was wondering why these... I thought this was the, over-pressurized error. Which, I guess it is. How do I get in here without deconstructing a lot of stuff? This is a vacuum. If I were to build like this, deconstruct those 2 tiles, which we have to switch that first to being building, so I don't deconstruct anything else we don't want to take out. That should allow a minimum amount of oil to leave this area. And we're gonna need 6 things of oil. Do we even have oil available to us right now? We do not. We need to find a spot to give us more oil. Or we start pumping the oil. I see a little bit right here. Here's some oil. Don't think I can mop that. No, I cannot. So if I put this right here, that should get that little bit. I doubt there's any oil on the right. Oh, there is. Almost 10 kilograms of it, geez. I'll have to deconstruct those 2. And I'm going to cancel these for right now. Where else is there a little bit of oil we can pick up? Nothing in here. I know as we get down here, there's a bunch of oil. There's a bunch in here. The majority of which I can just mop up until we get to this point. There's a lot of oil in here. We should be able to get to a majority of it, just not all of it. And I actually want all of this on a 7. Get all of that. Can we get down here? So that'll be the next spot we get a bunch of oil from before I go down into this area. Trying to avoid that as much as I can. There is a bunch of oil in here that we could probably take. I doubt there's enough in here to do exactly what it's saying that it's doing. There's actually quite a bit of oil in there. Alright. They dug up all the way to the top, so I'm going to just tell them to dig out that entire area. This is for the aqua tuner and the steam room. Suffocating. Why? Because you're in an area that does not have good airflow. If I put that right there for right now, that should drain it out a little bit quicker because it's carbon dioxide mixing with this lower amount. Whoppers are just cheeseburgers. Fapplejacks, that is a bannable offense here. Whopper is not just a cheeseburger. It's a cheeseburger. It's not just a cheeseburger. Shame on you, Fapplejacks. You can get one of those things of oil. You're a cheeseburger? Wow. Alright, and what we're doing here is we want oil in all of these. Good morning to you too, Fapplejacks. I'll be nice. Is that polluted dirt? No, that's mud. I keep thinking the mud is dirt. We are also trying to get oil in here. Oh, you're not queued up for food. That's what we were working on last. We're trying to get this ready. So the duplicants don't have to do anything over here. You don't have anything assigned to you. So if I do that, it should get the nuts out of here at least. Alright, and this is getting cooled down very nicely. It's now down to, let's say 5 degrees. Actually, we can tell because this will come out at the amount that it's at. We'll say it's 10 degrees in here. This blueprint, aluminum ore is a finite resource, so we're going to do that. Let's look at the temperature inside the base because it should still be cooling down. I don't know if 48.9 counts as it cooling down. Over here it definitely is because there's nothing producing heat in this area. We might still want to bring that pipe back up here as we had originally planned. How are they doing over here? They pretty much built everything in that area, so let's keep going. We're also going to need to bring our power down here. How are we doing on steel? We have an issue with lime. Don't know why there's sedimentary rock right there, but lime we're going to need updated. Let's just put everything required to steel on a 7 to make sure that we always have it. I might want to reorganize how I do this. I could push everything over one. Which would make all the storages be in one area. Or I could move everything over to the right one and then have a storage for lime. That would cause an issue with the auto sweeper though. That's why the storage has a space in the middle. I could just take out this ladder and rotate it. I want to see something, because we're trying to make steel to turn all of the power lines into steel heavy watt conductors. If I do a line of cobalt here, I want to see if it's going to overheat. Because if it doesn't overheat, there's no point in us making everything out of steel, which would give us a lot more stuff in return. How is the oil doing? Oil is ready right there. We're gonna have to make a liquid lock attached to this. So we'll do that. Deconstruct that one tile, or one ladder, I mean. We're gonna have to build tiles in here just to get the air out, so I'll go like this. Actually, no, I can't do that until they build everything. And we're not going to place a bottle here, so let's actually put that ladder back. I'm going to use an oil blob right here. Make this a liquid lock. Alright, and now we can put all the tiles there. Maria's going to get stuck. No, she's not. Never mind then. Alright. Let's grab you, put you right here. And then queue up another one to go in there. Are these all connected, or is it just going out the one? It should all be connected. I think it's just not a large enough packet to stop that one vent from going off. Put another tile there. That should make this a liquid lock once we drop the oil to open it. Why aren't you picking that up? Don't know, but someone's coming over here with the oil now. Empty that out. I feel as though I am sliding in this chair. Are you coming to empty it? Awesome, that's a vacuum. We can get in here now. I think some of this water is going to flow out of here. But let's actually do what I was going to do at first and just do oil there. I was just trying to figure out a way to make it so that I don't have to clean up liquids later. They did put all of it. Okay, so let's remove all of these, relocate them all to over here. But right now, it's going to say that we can't relocate them until they deconstruct that one tile. Now that they're all relocated, put that on a 7, and we can go to the pedestal. Queue up 2 more. Because we need a total of 6 packets in here. So that let out all the natural gas. We'll have to try and figure out how to get that up later. I think I might do the delete method to get all the way up there. That would help us save on losing the oil we're going to lose. Which I could do to bring this oil also into there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stop this from queuing up oil. We're going to save this 1,000 grams of oil. Why is there water here, by the way? Let's mop that up. So this gets hot enough to flash oil. Yeah, it does. You don't get hot enough. I don't think this would get hot enough. What about natural or hydrogen? Hydrogen does get hot enough. We should change this to water or to oil. While we have the chance. And this will be easier to get into because I can go from the top down and not have to worry about liquids. How are they doing over here? We're ready to dig out a little bit more. And it doesn't seem like these are overheating. Because this would overheat at 75 degrees, right? Oh, phantom ball, that's cool. Give me 1 second, chat, while I pull up my own stream to try and see what ball I have. I know we've tried to catch that before. I also have a phantom ball. Let me see if I did catch it the last time. I did not. Jano, thank you for typing in that command with that specific ball. Because I am now able to just copy and paste it. Let's see if I caught it before it even tells me. Ah, I didn't catch it. Hopefully Gino does. Wait, what? We both caught it. Congrats, Gino. But for some reason it didn't tell me that I caught it beforehand. Like we've been able to tell in the past. That's weird. Anyway, since these aren't overheating, I think we can change all the power lines to Cobalt and not have to worry about overheating issues. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll make everything Cobalt. Made a mess. Why? I think someone's stuck, perhaps. Okay, that should be almost every power line highlighted. Seems about right. This... we're gonna leave. We only have 10 tons left, so we can't do it all right now. I have a bunch of different balls, but I never know when to use them. That's true. That's same with me. We should look at... why are people making a mess? I'll take the water. If you're making a mess, Okay, here's one. But there's 3. I highly doubt that's enough for 3 duplicates of P. Alright, we're gonna go with it and hope that there's not more. That just doesn't seem right. Alright, this should be getting the carbon dioxide out of here a lot quicker. And then also getting the chlorine. Someone else made a mess. Okay, this is one thing I was expecting from that. Is it a water? We are completely out of water. And for another 6 cycles. Trying to think of where we're going to grab the water from, if we take it from here or from here. Think it'll be a quicker run to take it from here. This will get branched on here. I purposely put it up high enough that it shouldn't pick up salt water. And then I need to put... I think it's only 240, right? Yeah. So I only need one of those and 1 battery. I did not think we would ever be in a deficit of water. Here's some of the polluted water in there. Okay, so from here on, I'm only worrying about the polluted water being in the clean water area. We're not worried about anything else. We also should have reed fiber to change a bunch of these floors into carpet tiles. So we're gonna go through the bedrooms. What did I just run out of? We did not just run out of granite. We ran out of reed fiber. Okay. Well, we're gonna cancel all of the vent tiles. That just brought us back to being able to place more. Yeah, we did run out of reed fiber. Why do we have so little? It's like they're not using the sharing station or something. I don't know. We're gonna ignore that. Let's dig out a little bit more of this area since they're getting close to finishing it. And at this point, they already did this floor, so I'm actually going to just do the entire area. We'll get all of it out of here. They're still moving around the oil as far as I can tell. Yeah, there's still 3 commands here. There's still 3 here. Alright, how are they doing over here? They're getting this done relatively quick. Can't complain too much about it. Alright, and it looks like they're not going to be able to drain any of this liquid out. So I'm gonna have to mop that up. People made mess in areas they shouldn't have been in. So now I have to mop up more. And I am thinking we do a kill order right there. Since there's a bunch of water out here, probably from the critters, we're gonna have to do a mop there as well. Why is there polluted dirt here? Well, that's mud, that's normal, but why is there dirt? I'm just gonna relocate it to being in there. Okay, with them taken care of, I'm gonna deconstruct this and hopefully get all this water out of here. Actually, if I cancel that one and deconstruct this one, we might be able to get down here and mop up the little bit of water left on the tile that doesn't get moved. They're just doing the pipes now. There is a lot of water here. Okay. How many more pipes? Not too much more. There's maybe 30 pipes left. There is even more oil right here. There's some right here. That was from our previous oil storage. I see some right here. Let's mop that up as well. A little bit of bleach stone. There's apparently a pacu stuck over here. That's funny to see. Alright, they're still trying to mop up the clean water from down here. They haven't deconstructed that one tile yet. How is the gas situation doing? We're getting all the chlorine up here. Only about 8 pipes left. I am going to have a quick snack. Because unlike on Monday, I did not have a grown-up breakfast. So I'm gonna have a couple Reese's. Shaped like a pumpkin. Let's go with 3. This area really needs to get mopped because of there being 2 liquids right there. That's gonna cause that pump to run until there's a vacuum. This area is flooded. Let's come down here and dig that way. I'll see if that's enough. If not, I'll dig this way a little bit, which will help bring us all of this oil down to the bottom portion. This also polluted water. It is. Alright, that should at least bring us down one more tile. Then we have to get rid of all this. It's also not helping that we have a bunch of liquids in here. You know what? This area is just not getting mopped up quick enough. So if I do that on a 7, everyone should come down here and do it, instead of it just being 1 or 2 people. Now I see oxygen here, so I'm going to tell them to queue this up and put that back, as well as mop that up again. Because now we are almost at a clean area. This should be polluted water. That's fine. Alright, back down to here. I want them to mop all of that and all of this. Since this wasn't enough for that to open up, let's go a little bit this way. Incorporate this salt water into the whole thing. They still haven't put the second thing of oil. For some reason it's not selected. That would explain why it wasn't done yet. Why is there water here again? I don't know where water is coming from. They mopped almost everything in here. You know what? I'm going to tell them to continue mopping this area, so that it doesn't keep leaving stuff in here. And I have a feeling they can't actually get to that fish. There was apparently more than one fish. And who knows, maybe they'll flop all the way over and survive without being killed. You know, I'm actually going to tell them not to kill this. There's 2 babies in here. Wednesday. Man, now I want a burger. You should do it. Join the cult. Eat Whoppers every Wednesday. Do these not become unpressured at the same time? No, let's do this out of iron. If I make that all mesh tiles, that'll drop the water even further. There we go, now it's able to be used. So we're about to have polluted water again. That should hold us over for the next 3 cycles, I think, at this point. Yep, gets it right. About 3 cycles. Let's do this pod for the seeds, and then we're going to do a prediction. That meeting you were in for an hour was completely useless. That's how they usually are. So anyway, let's do our prediction. The pod at the top left corner, is it going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You have 10 minutes to decide. Is the liquid coming up? It is. We're gonna have water for the toilets relatively soon. Gonna do a 50-50 split to feed the plants. It's also gonna go into this tank first, which shouldn't be too far away from being full. Because we're telling it to shut off at 500. We're about to be caught up on the water here. What happened? Why did this have a buffer? That's because the battery emptied out? Quicker than expected? It did it again. I don't know about that, chat, but we are now fully filling up this tank, so it should get done a lot quicker than it was earlier. Except for when there's half packets. Instead of a full packet of water. We're probably now down to only 2 cycles left to wait, so about 871 we should be getting our water back from salt water. This should be done maybe in a minute. Do I want it to prioritize the toilets first? How would I even get them to do that without prioritizing the oxygen creation afterwards? I think I would have to put them on 2 different lines. Or have it go all the way up, loop back down, then go back up again. I don't know, chat. We close to being done over here yet? We're at 490 now. Come on, you're so close to it. There we go, that's at 500. So now we should be getting water to our toilets. Meaning pretty soon they should be able to use them. Especially once we keep getting water coming through here instead of it being intermittent. Maybe it was due to these not having enough sand. Not sure. But it is now coming up here steadily. So we have our toilets back. I can start cleaning up the entire base now. Let's do all of that and all of this. There's even more stuff over here. Luckily it didn't overflow into this side. Left side's easier to clean up. I'm also going to tell them to do another check for any liquids in here. I had a feeling there would be a few hiding. And I am going to start telling them to put in the stuff for the liquid locks. Which means that these have to be for power. We did, on the other hand, move all of the oil. So let's remove some more. Relocate it to here, and relocate this to here. I'm also going to relocate the oil that's in here so that they're all on one tile. So that's 200. This should also be... That's not 200. Or 2,000. We'll worry about it later. Right now, I want to get all that done. And maybe that was counting the oil from right here. That's why we weren't doing that last oil. I already forgot that quickly. Anyway, they should be getting this done a little bit quicker. Let's do another amount of mopping in the bedrooms. In the ranch. And in the kitchen. There's nothing in here for right now, so we're fine with that. There is a lot of mushroom wrap in there. Is there a reason why we're not picking it out? Mushroom wrap, there we go. How are we on liquids? If I go like this and then we look at liquid, there's some hiding here. There's nothing anywhere else. I'm gonna also mop that to get that out of here. And then we can just do this. Get rid of all that. Could they relocate that already? Yeah, we had one thing of oil move. Here comes the second piece. Then we just need one more thing of oil moved, and then we're done with this area. On the other hand, they're doing this pretty well. They haven't really done any oil up here. Which I guess is okay. They're moving the polluted dirt, which means that eventually they're going to be going over here, getting fed a little bit more. They still haven't picked up the last thing of oil yet. It is on a 7, and it's an odd amount of oil that's placed there for some reason. Ellie is currently running to it. Is this Ellie? Yes, it is. So if we keep an eye on her, she's going to grab the oil and then come all the way back. Down the ladder she comes. And she made it all the way over. Now if I empty this, I'm going to do that on a 7 if I can reach it. Some of it's probably going to come down here. I can almost guarantee that it will. Good job, Lyra, for doing that. Yep, came over, moved some of the natural gas out of here. That is quite a bit. few hundreds worth of natural gas. We're not using it as much. I'm gonna let it go. We're gonna do our delete system to try and push all this oil up here. We're gonna have to do it one step at a time to make sure that we don't lose any. We're also gonna need ladders down here at some point. We'll worry about that later. And I have to put that tile first, so that when we put the tile here, it doesn't get pushed up. Let's see what's in the regular pod. Regular food. Stuff that does not spoil. I have some liquid there, so let's do a whole run to make sure we get everything. This area is pretty good. Bottle emptier, bottle emptier. That's for more oil. Are we getting salt water? Yes and no. We will, but we're not currently. And this got deconstructed. Let's put that back in. Here comes a little bit of salt water. Good luck, Gino. Alright, so pretty soon we should be getting all this water that we need. We won't be using this as much. Since they can't do anything in there about oil, I really do want this to be done already. Jugal is currently bringing over oil, apparently. That still has a lot of oil. There's oil bottles on the ground still. Over here. Apparently this is empty, so I guess I can mop up everything else. Yes, I can. Deconstruct that. So a little bit of oil right here. There's too much liquid there. Okay. What if I dig that out? Maybe I can get it to spread between two different tiles and then mop it up. What if I tell them to mop up this entire area? They can get started over here, which may allow me to mop up areas they couldn't before. Because I had a feeling I was just going to push the oil over. I didn't get it quick enough. You don't have to keep doing that. I'm going to tell them to do this. So we can get a little bit closer to having this area no liquid. This erupts in about 5 cycles. And it looks like this got so hot that it turned into sand. There's apparently chlorine here. And I saw it flashing over here. Alright, what do we need to do next? I guess just placing in all of the generators, right? Let's see how this is going to go. Natural gas first, because we can probably use it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. That doesn't look right. Why does this not seem right? I don't have it over as far as I need it. So the majority of this is going to get deconstructed, just so I can place it back in. So that means that all of this is off by 1 as well. Not this one, though. We made sure of that. Or did we? Nope, this all has to get pushed out 1 more. And also that doesn't need to be there. This is the new ladder. Get rid of all of these. They're trapped because they didn't build the ladders before they deconstructed them. Alright, let's also deconstruct these. That's cancel. There we go. That should be all of it. Then we can place these back in. Okay, so now if we go back into doing all of this, this should fit 3 exactly. Once we deconstruct that tile, it will. More here, then we need batteries. Since they only take 200, I'm going to place in all 3 of them. Let's deconstruct all of these. Actually, can I just go like this? I can for those. The one with the ladder we have to deconstruct. Alright, now we should be able to place in the remaining natural gas. That brings them all together. I need to do the power as well. I just remembered. So I'll do that. And since Cobalt is working, we'll just do Cobalt in here. Bring this all the way up to here, actually. Because it looks like all I did was key this in here. To the, trying to remember the name. To the aqua tuner. Alright, power. And I'm gonna guess that that's in the middle. That's on the right. Good thing I checked that one. So in the middle and on the right. That means here. And here. And then this has to go all the way. And then here also. Whoa, not like that. And then. Ooh, that's all of our cobalt for a little while. Ooh. Okay. Next thing. We don't have cobalt for that. Let's check on the volcano, see when it's going to erupt again. In a few seconds. Nice timing. Alright, when does this turn back on? Right now. Nice. And this still has 34 cycles before it gets back to us. Should mean that we're still draining this pretty regularly. Alright, next thing we need to look at is gas pipes, because all of these require an outlet. So we are going to go like that. Same for this one. And then over here, we're going to do it with these 4. And then this is going to have to be made out of steel, as far as I can tell. Okay, that's true. We have a little bit of cobalt, so I can queue all of these together. Just like that. This is going to be put on 9060, so that we prioritize using natural gas before hydrogen. And then I just need to get this all the way up to here. So we're going to use cobalt right now. And then eventually in the future we'll change it all to being... This is cobalt ore right now. We're gonna wait until later to change it to actual cobalt. But this should have everything started at that point. We just need to add the inlet pipes. And going off of what I can see, looks like I went straight down from where the hydrogen connects in. Which would mean doing something a little bit different. Bridge over that. Get down to here. We'll go straight down. I'm gonna change how the hydrogen is. We're just gonna keep going straight down. And it will connect into there. Hydrogen's gonna have to go this way, bridge over, and then go straight up and in. I also do want some bridges. This one right there. This one right here. We're gonna need a bridge. Prioritizing the oven, and then we just need a bridge to go over that system. So for right now, I am going to cut this off so that hopefully that pipe empties at some point in the future. And let's continue doing this as well. And they are going to probably build themselves in a hole at some point. Since we have a bunch of igneous rock for the moment, I'm going to connect them all the way across on the majority of these lines. Cancel that, we're going to need a line here as well. Is that right? Yes, it is. Okay, so this is going to take quite a while for them to build everything here. It did a majority of stuff over here. I'm just going to queue up all of the dig commands in this area. Not that. We're going to then deconstruct this. That ladder stays. I'm also gonna dig that. Stupid headphones turning the volume of the speakers. Alright, that just released a bunch more liquid. Is this making an infinite liquid storage right now? Because it's not moving past that. Weird. That'll be updated at some point in the future. Alright, what do I want them to do first? Let's do 6s. Is that a Rattata? Oh, it's Eradicate. Do I have a female Raticate? Apparently I do. Okay, so we want that on a 6. Up to there. We also want to build a tile right there so that all the oil goes upwards, hopefully. We can then start deconstructing some of the tiles we're not going to need. There goes all the liquid now. Trying to think of what else we're going to need to prioritize. Obviously, we're going to have to prioritize digging out some of this area. If I just queue up telling them to dig this area out and all of this. Since we can reach these, let's do this as well. Only because we can reach them. Deconstruct, deconstruct. Oh, they need a way to get over there. No, they can go from the top if they need to. Since this is prepared, let's disconnect that so this can get drained out. And then we can connect it in like that. Make that a 6. There's oil in here again. I think it's from the slicksers, probably. How much aluminum do we have? Only 300. I'm going to tell them to queue up another 10. Just for the future. Let's do this. Snazzy suit. I just now realized that we didn't do the first pod yet. Our first prediction. So let's give Meep that. We only need one more suit for Mima. And let's take a second to pause and do our prediction. We have 30 points in tops. So we're going to do this. We're going to start the next prediction. We're going to do that one, and then we're going to start the third prediction. So it's going to be back to back if I do it quick enough. It is wallpaper. So sorry, Gina, I'm stealing your points. Alright. Looks like Gina's down here, taking out his frustration on digging out all the tiles. What a time to abandon wallpaper. That's how it usually happens. They did that tile, so I'm going to queue up the next one, but they can't reach that yet. They have to deconstruct these two first, so I'm going to prioritize that. Just so they get in here a little bit quicker. Now, it seems like this is dormant. It is. So what I'm actually going to do is salvage all of this. Because that's going to be dormant longer than it's going to take us to build all of those pipes. Even with digging out and doing all the ladders. This is dormant for 21 cycles. I hope it does not take us 21 cycles to do all this. And now that has all the oil. We push it up one more. Deconstruct all of those. Do that all in a 6. Why aren't they doing these two? There we go. Alright. Since we need ladders to get over to this portion. Why does it cancel me out of priority? This all the way over. This and this. Do the ladders and these ladders. That's all we need to get the hydrogen back together. It does still have a bunch of hydrogen in here to go through. So we could actually start doing the next amount of oil. So that we can do this. Now that this is back down to 500, there's not that much left in there. Deconstruct. Deconstruct. We can actually do both of these at the same time. It's just going to get rid of the natural gas as far as I know. Actually, let's try and do this a little bit smarter. Let's not do that one yet. Now we are going to need ladders. Let's say there and here. Then you're not going to be able to push it to here. Yes, I can. I can push it up there. I can put a tile right here. And then we can build the ladders over to get these two. We're getting closer, chat. And they are getting this done very quickly, actually. I am surprised. It has to be because we're not spending as much time over here with Muirwood. I don't see any other reason why we'd be able to get this stuff done this quickly. When does magma solidify? At 14. This is at 15 now and declining. So with this overheating everything else, we should be seeing what is going to be needed to keep stuff from melting. I have a feeling that this is going to have issues at some point with how close it is. We're probably going to have to move the transformer somewhere else. And then we could actually, when we get this ready for steam, we could just deconstruct everything in here and have this an open room with metal tiles leaking out. Alright, we're gonna go here and here. Deconstruct those two. Priority 6. Right, over here we're gonna have to deconstruct everything in there, as well as everything in here. This needs to be demolished, that needs to be demolished. They'll get there eventually. We can then... Why wasn't this deconstructed? And then also queue up all of this to be dug out. And I'm also going to queue up killing those two. There's a shine bug. I'm surprised to see a shine bug out here. Are they doing the hydrogen or are they doing the ladders? Hard to tell, but the hydrogen only has 2 more pipes to be put in. Since they have all of that, let's do this. And this. That should get them in here. This is going to allow the slickster to make more oil because it's going to be closer to the carbon dioxide. Regus apparently dug himself into a hole for a second there. Now Gina's coming back through this way to do all of the digging. And Sophie, look at them go. They're both over here. Alright, why are they doing these before those? I'm gonna put that on a 7 so that they get that done before this wakes up, I mean. Our cobalt has gone up to almost 8 tons. Fortunately, we can't get to here, so we can't get that oil yet. How are they doing with these? They haven't even started doing that yet. Where did all the oil go? Oil was deleted. That's unfortunate. I was trying to keep it. Alright, let's just keep going then. I guess the game prioritizes gases over liquids. And since they aren't deconstructing those yet, let's put that on a 6 so that they do it now. Put that on an 8, hopefully. I want to try to save that slickster. Just went all the way around to get back over here. Gino's being a madman, digging out everything. If they do that one tile, they could get over here. They're not going to be able to get over. Oh, they can get over. Look at that. Did that slickster die over here? I think it died before we mopped up that oil. They almost have all the pipes in. Apparently they're now on priority of 5, doing stuff. So everything now is just first come, first serve. Kind of want them to prioritize everything over here next. Let's do all of that. Did they dig up the plant that was over here? They did. I canceled that, I swear. Okay, let's do the next prediction. You guys know the deals are going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper. You have 10 minutes to decide. Hopefully I remember to look after 10 minutes. Might have to put in noise so that I remember to look. Nothing from there. This area is getting hot, just not hot enough to do all this for the steam turbines. How's the oil thing doing? There's chlorine in here again. Because I keep bringing it over. If I had it dropped off instead, which is what this is for, we just don't have the... We don't have the stuff set up for it yet. Alright, we're gonna have to ignore chlorine being in this middle section. Let's continue pushing the oil up. At that point, we can deconstruct this because it can't reach that tile anyway. And priority. But I sworn I saw bleachstone, like actually I've seen it, not the off gas. But I guess I didn't. They did those 4 or 3 ladders quickly. They did this quickly as well. So now at this point, it should be up to these ladders to do everything else. So we can deconstruct this as well. Put a tile there. It should all get moved to here and then all get moved up 1 when we pulled that tile in. If not, it's just going to be this amount of liquid. And all of this gets deleted. Is not what I want. We do, on the other hand, have to build a liquid lock for over here so we can get into this. Can I just do that? Put a little bit of oil right here? I think I might be able to get away with that. We now have a backlog with salt water, so we should be running that non-stop. Which means we're not doing the polluted water. We should be using a small amount of it, though. We are. Okay. What's going on right here? We don't have this cooled yet. Is it actually cooled down enough? -6, -16. These need to be under 0. So right now everything is good. It just needs ethanol. So we could start getting the water in here and having the water get cooled down as well. How do I want to do that? This is at 30. I could have all of this as radiant pipes so that we can cool it down as it's being used. I think that is what I'm going to do. Turn all that into radiant pipe before we connect in. Actually, if I just disconnect right here, we can connect this in and have the water getting put in there at least. And then hopefully when it's in here, it starts cooling down. Yeah, it's getting cooled down as it's going in. This should start cooling down slower and slower as more stuff gets added to it. Yeah, now it's going up. So that'll take a while before it gets cold enough. But we are getting closer to being able to do all this. We need to put in the power to over here. Was this more coal generators? I think it was. Can I... There we go. If I just do that, that should be the rest of that. And then we just need to put in the ethanol distiller, refinery, steel. That goes here. But I need all the automation. No, that's not all the shipment stuff. So that's an auto sweeper here, conveyor loader here, and I forget what this is for. And then I do have 4 more auto sweepers, which I can't all place in. So I have to ignore that for now. Why do I have... Oh, it creates polluted dirt. That's why I have this here. Okay. So somehow we need 2 different conveyor belts leaving this area. Oh, I see what I'm doing with the wood. So we're gonna have to continue the ladder run. At least right here. Deconstruct everything. That must be a demolish task then. Demolish, 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 demolish. Inspect. We didn't inspect that already. Well, we did inspect that. And power. Deconstruct all that. Now you're not very smart there, Willow. You just put yourself in a spot that you're not going to be able to get out of later. Unless you build this ladder, then you can get out over here. Is Meemaw going to do the same thing now? Make her way all the way over here and then get stuck? Unless she does this tile first. Then she'll just reach to this one, not anything else. Okay. We're going to dig out all of this. Because we need to get conveyor rails in here. We're also going to need to put in a conveyor chute. Right there. So 1 conveyor rail goes out. Oh, this is coming in. This is leaving. And I actually want to go outside of... Actually, it doesn't matter where I go. Take that back out again. This does need to be a bridge, though. And this is going to go all the way over and all the way up and connect into there. We're going to need one more bridge right here at least. And then I think it's time for us to focus on salvaging cobalt ore from our wires, which is going to require a lot more cobalt than we currently have. So we might want to uncork this volcano over here. So I'm just going to go like this and deconstruct all of that. I'll leave the pipes in so that we can still use the pipes. How did they do over here? They finished all of that. Awesome. That means they should be doing everything on a priority of 5, meaning they're doing whatever they can. This is somewhat important. Let's get in here and prioritize all of the stuff. Why does it close the priority tab when it autosaves? We obviously want this and this. We're going to need to go up. We only need to go to that point, so we'll do just those. Then all of this and that, and all of this. That should be it. Now we have prediction ready. So we're going to do our second prediction after I readjust my chair. And we're still making steel, so we should be able to get our petroleum generators in soon, if we're lucky. Let's also check up on this. That only has 600, and there's debris. There shouldn't be debris. Now I have to find a way to get that out of here. I'll worry about it later. Let's get that little bit of oil. We'll check this pod. Ice, sure. Relocate down to here on a 7. And let's do the pod before I forget. So, we have 30 points in tops, 169 points in bottoms. And it is wallpaper again. Choose outcome, wallpaper, sorry to steal all your points. But you have now a third option to get it, because I am starting the next pod. The next prediction, I mean. You got 10 minutes to choose the next outcome. And then that one we'll do when we're close to rating out. So it won't be right after the 10 minutes are done. Now, I do want to get this debris out of here. And I'm hoping we can grab it from the corner. I don't think the duplicates can grab from the corner. Pretty sure the only thing that can grab diagonally is auto sweepers. How is this doing? If I go here, I can see what's inside the type. It's at -5, so does that mean the water in here is at -5? No, the water in here is at 20. 29, I mean. But if they do the pipes, then I can get it to start radiating as it comes out. And then it won't matter what's in here as long as it radiates as it comes out. Because it's not going to take a full packet of water to feed all these. It's going to be slow, just like the other foods. They're getting closer to doing this area completely. What was this again? I think that's another volcano. We could dig this out just to get that extra igneous rock from it. But at the same time, right now we really don't need it. Could I have this done today? And also all this. Good, they did some of the radiant pipes already. So we can, at this point, connect these together. And then we should see that it warms up a lot over here. But that it should start to cool down even as quick as it heated up. Wait a second. It might have cold damage. We're gonna have to watch and see what happens here. If there's a lot of water in here in a little bit, we're gonna know that this is too cold for everything. So I'm just gonna go like this and disconnect all of that. We might want this to stay insulated. Now this does still say it's unreachable, so I'm gonna do something highly unnecessary. Auto sweeper. Generator, battery, wire, storage. Do all that for me. How hot's this area getting? It's actually not doing too bad for something that's super hot. They're getting this area done pretty quickly. Oh, we also need to add this to power. So since they're both over here, let's just go straight up. No, we're gonna have to figure out how we're getting into here. I think we're just gonna dig the water down there. Did this drain out completely already? Not completely, but quite a bit. Alright, let's dig into here. That's the 5th line there, so we're gonna go down to here. And we're gonna dig out all of this so that we can get the ethanol to fall down a little bit more. that can get done whenever. Oh, we have our polluted water geyser. No, we don't. That's dormant. That's a backlog of a little bit of pea water. We don't have to prioritize anything right now. They're taking a little bit of time to do the stuff that I have them prioritize doing. And the majority of it is cobalt related, which is far away from this area. So that explains that portion at least. Now, in here, I do want to dig out all of this. So if I go like that, they should be able to dig out everything but this top layer. So let's cancel what they won't be able to reach. I think they can get that tile from this ladder. I don't think they can get any of those four. Right. They moved the oil and then used it somewhere. Where are you taking that? Oh, you just moved it over one. Now you won't move it over. And this one fish is damaged, so I'm just gonna kill it completely. Okay, oil is over here. Empty on the 7, please. Okay, I'm gonna put this on all standard. There we go. Already done with that area. And then this can just get built in. Six, 6, 6. So we can get in here. This should have all the oil on it again. Yep. Let's just do our usual thing. Relocate to here. Relocate to here. And you. And you. Oil. Oil. 7. And now we wait. Seven kilograms? Yes, there's 7 kilograms of polluted oxygen. There's not even 7 kilograms out here. That doesn't make sense. I guess it was combined, it would. Alright. They can construct all 3 of those. And if we're lucky, when they build this tile, and there'll be oil on top of it. Really, why aren't they doing the cobalt? Is there like a thing going on over here that they can't get in here? Or is it just choosing not to take that? I don't know. We can, on the other hand, mop all of that, because that is now at a spot that no liquids should fall onto it ever again. Except for when we try to make this all into a big sauna. Let's do a regular pod. Excellent fruit. We'll grab that non-perishable food. And something over here rotted away. Surf and turf. You know, I could do up mopping all of these as well. Let's see, get rid of all this water and get rid of all of these liquids. Is that a gas? Why is there a polluted oxygen gas tank out here? That's odd to find right there. Alright, let's see if this gets the oil. They didn't finish filling it in. This is ready for them to get in here. I'm gonna need to mop all this as well. Alright, another mop check over here. Alright, that's all good. Let's do a check up here just in case. Alright, and then they did all of this just now. Nothing seems to have been left. The same right there. Awesome. They just did all this, so let's do a cleanup for that. We need to make sure to get all that water out of there before we seal this up. And we do have oil right here. Oh, do we have the gases built in? We do. Look at that. So these are going to get filled. I don't think they're going to start working until the power gets built in. But it's at least bringing the gas all the way over to where it's going to end. Awesome. Alright, so at that point, we could probably turn this down. We'll do 60-30 now. We can also take off that coal. No, we should probably wait until we have this built in. And since they're doing stuff with cobalt, they're working from the bottom up, hopefully. So those generators are going to use a lot of natural gas before the automation gets built in, if it doesn't. Why are you doing the power lines over here? That wasn't what I told you to do. I don't know. We have all this dug out. Food's going well for right now. It may be time to just spend more time digging the colony out and not really building much. We might want to do a stream or two of doing just that. I could, however, just queue up the stuff and put on like a 4, and then they get around to it when they can. Unless we want to get in an area where stuff is at. I don't know if any of that made sense the way that I said it. We do have people bringing over more cobalt. Looks like some wires are going to put in as well. I see 5 kilograms going up. Nice. It actually skipped over where the power supply is. Unless the power supply is right here. What even are words? They're just noises. Actually, the power supply... is right here, going off of this one. Alright, so petroleum is going to be 90, 70 maybe? We'll do it by 220 instead of 30s. Because then this can be 70, 50. The natural gas can be 50, 30, and then the coal can be 30, 0. That in my head makes sense. And now we're able to do a little bit of this. So just to make sure, this is connected in. Yes, it is. Automation would be correct. And this will slowly fill up with a ton of carbon dioxide, pushing everything upwards. This isn't on because I didn't do the automation up here. I was wondering why these aren't on. Oh, where's all natural gas? No power over here? Well, that's not good. We need power to make power. Feel like Thanos. I used the power to destroy the power. We're just gonna empty this. That should get those done. This still hasn't been deconstructed yet. That's bothering me. Overheat damage. How are you getting heat transfer? I don't know why that's getting a heat transfer. Maybe this should be 2 tiles thick. Seems overkill, but we're gonna make that out of steel for now, so it doesn't keep complaining. I should probably also disable auto repair. So we got close to having not oxygen. We were close to getting enough power. Because these natural gas generators should do a good job of getting us power. Once it's actually working. They only have a couple more tiles to do. Awesome, they have all of that done, so let's do all of this down here. We'll make that our next priority. Ethanol is only required for food. We're not really in need of food, and this did break. Okay, so this should not be radiant. Oh, I see what's going on. I felt the table vibrate for some reason. It was one of the kittens. We're just gonna make this regular pipes. And see if that also has issues. We're gonna need to sweep all of this ice out of here. I forgot that because of how cold this is, it would be ice and not water. still cold enough for this. Is this getting cooled down as it comes through here? Maybe a little bit, but not a noticeable amount. Alright. Why do you have no power connection to you? Oh, it's not no power, it's not nothing coming out. But this, on the other hand, that's concerning. That is our water. We need our water. Might be because that's dormant. Not sure, but we're gonna empty this. And then we should be able to close this off before the pump comes back. And we have no power up here either, so that means we're gonna lose our food. Quickly. So this 100% is not enough to run the colony. We're getting over here. The liquids are merging together. Ethanol did move down, so it's not getting overheated over here right away. I'm okay with the salt water getting overheated, but not the other liquid. Let's take salt water, as I was speaking about it. Alright, they did do that, but that says max. Oh, it didn't move. Is that okay, though? Eh, it's okay. If anything, when more gas comes in here, it should maybe move around. It is concerning, though. I'm gonna get in here and put a tile there and then deconstruct the tile. Alright, now that we got to this, we can analyze it. And that should be giving us even more cobalt, which after some time will keep us up to what we need. We deconstructed that vent already. So this is going to move the oil over, which should move even further to the left. But then when we deconstruct it, it's going to move to the right again. Meaning that this should not get overpressurized after we deconstruct this. I think the oil is just more viscous in the game. So right now it's at 2,000. It should go down to 19 once we deconstruct this. See, there we go. That's better. We'll do that. We'll sweep this up. We'll do all of that on a priority of 6. And then that's going to be ready for us. Now, did this give us cobalt? It did, wow. Okay, just so I can see better, I'm going to tell them to sweep all that stuff so I can see if there's any debris on the ground. And we need to get oil around here. Made a mess, yep, I knew that was coming. We don't have water. They cleaned that out already. Let's connect those in. How long until this again? Total of 8 cycles. Why is this on deconstruct? Oh, that's the pipes. How did they place it in if they couldn't deconstruct it? That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe they could have deconstructed it earlier, but I got rid of the ladder. Alright, what's the next easy thing that we can tell them to prioritize while we're doing other stuff? This is a slow thing. They can only do 2 at a time. It's time to dig all this. That'll give Gina and Sophie something to do. I want to do another test. If I put this here and that there, I want to know if either one of them gets damaged from heat. We're going to be going through a bathroom crisis for a while. Did more deconstruct over here, so let's put that in. And hopefully if I keep doing it this way, they'll be able to build quicker than all the stuff over here. Which I might as well place in. Cancel all that and take that. And that one tile. Hopefully place it in. I don't think it did. It did not. I am pretty happy with how much we got done on the right side. I mean, look at this colony now. Or this asteroid. It's looking pretty empty. I want to say maybe close to half of it dug out. Nah, it's less than half. Let's say 40%. We have natural gas in here. We got enough power somehow. Ooh, look at all that power! That means these shut off a while ago. That's what we wanted. Look at that, it already turned off. Alright, so I think we don't have to worry about much right now. Sweep that up. We only have a couple more things to do on this asteroid before we get into our side stories. We're doing the dirty brick now. We still need sulfur. Just somewhere down here. Or is it? It might actually be this. Because I know it's mixed with 3 oil reservoirs. So let's do this cheat code here. That's a volcano. You are not the one I want. That's the leaky oil fissure. The sulfur should be here. I am concerned now, chat. Liquid sulfur right there. We do have it. What is that? Did it get moved all the way over here? If it did, that would be a lot better, because this should be leaky oil fissure. Yep. What is this? Minor volcano. That wasn't always there, I don't think. Oh, it's right here. I couldn't see it. It was right here the whole time. Alright, I should probably queue up the commands that they can't reach. Just so I know that it's right there at all times. Because I can see the dig commands from this far away. Alright, they're building the ladders right there. That's good. Since we have power, we should be getting water back. Meaning that we have our bathrooms back up. So let's do our cleanup. Please mop all of that. Ceiling collapse, that's fine. All of that, and then we have to be picky over on this side. Except for when there's none in the ranches. Alright, did we get all the chlorine out of here? We got a majority of the chlorine out. So all the chlorine right now is in here. That is awesome to see. Now I just need to figure out how to get all that chlorine out of there. I'm not sure, but my alarm is about to go off in a few seconds, if not in 1 minute. So let's do our final pod. We have 1,200 points in tops, 269 points in bottoms, and a whopping 30 points in buildings. So what I'm going to expect, unfortunate for the person who chose buildings, is that it's either going to be wallpaper again for 3rd time, or it's actually going to be clothing. So let's see what it is. It's clothing. Congratulations on the people that did 269 points total into bottoms. Welcome in, Regus. I would have picked pants if I was here, just so you know. Sure. Let's choose outcome. This is bottoms. Congratulations to Arblane, who put in the total of 269 points, who had just won about 14? No, that's a combination of all the points. So, is there anything we need to make sure we have ready and set up for the next stream, though? Those were cool pants. They look like karate clothes. I didn't read what it was called. Okay, trapped. You... Regus. You're not allowed to come in chat and then get stuck. You... Okay. Alright, everything else I think is on a priority of do it whenever you want. We could further bring this liquid down to get to this volcano and get even more igneous rock, but we don't really need it. We should probably get to this leaky fissure just so that we can get oil on a renewable source. It's a small amount. We do still have oil all over the place that we could use. Let's see if I can mop up all the oil up here. Because if I can do that, I can dig this. That will drop even more oil. There's a little bit up here. There's a little bit right here, but that's too much, I already know, before even looking at the 870 that's in it. And then hopefully this all clumps together. There we go. That's not what I wanted to click on. Mop that. Don't know why this was queued up to be dug, but I'll just dig both of them. This whole ladder line is already put in, so we might as well dig everything above it. I was gonna wait to dig all of that, but we can do it now. This is pretty much done. They can do all 4 of those ladders. So queue up the next dig command. Now that we are doing a little bit more automated food, we're using less duplicate labor up here. we're doing pretty good. Now, I do have almost 2 million K-cows. Is there anything we can get rid of? We have 1 million K-cows of pickled meal specifically. I'm getting rid of another line. That's not what I wanted. We're getting rid of this line. We don't need that much. We'll have to keep an eye on it over time. Now this is regular pipe, so it should keep some of its heat. Save auto repair on that. How is this coming with oil? Doesn't look like it got any more. Now the thing that does need to have oil is this side before this fills up with polluted water. So we will have to worry about that in the future. As well as vacuuming out this little area. Let's see if I can mop up any of this oil. Can't do that. Might do that. Nope. What about this side? Can do those, not that. That should get all of the oil that's around the area. If I dig those two tiles, will these two combine? I'm gonna hope so. There is a bottle pump here that isn't even being used. This is on a 7, but they're not doing it. How do I get them to do this without putting it on like an even higher unnecessary number? I'm not sure, but I think the longer I keep going, the more I'm going to want to keep playing. So we're going to pause, we're going to save, we're going to do all of our stuff. Actually, let's do our screenshot first. And I need to change this to window. There we go, there's a screenshot. Save. We're gonna raid out now, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.